We don't want to get in trouble with the U.S. Open, so take a listen and just look at this still shot from last night.
Nadal has won the opening set against Roger Federer on night one at the Open.
Look at everyone in this still shot. I wish I could play the clip for you, but we might get in trouble with the U.S. Opens. Just look at this still image. The guy with the Federer serving at Wimbledon t-shirt, he can't believe it. The guy in the bottom right in the blue, he's like, do I clap? I guess I clap. Do I clap? He's got like a begrudging smirk on his face. The little kid with the glasses, totally befuddled. The guys above, they're kind of chuckling like, here we go. And then the lady all the way to the right, she's looking over at the crazy guy with the crazy shirt of Roger Federer serving. Let's zoom ahead a little more. The camera, they did a great zoom in. They're happy. Those are his parents. I mean, Patrick McEnroe sounds shocked. It wasn't just the people there. The tennis media all over it today. Ragged Roger Federer. That was my favorite negative Fed headline today. Ragged Roger Federer drops. He's ragged over at thescotsman.com. Great job, Eve Fodans. But you know what? I like what Roger Federer said in the press conference after the match. He said, hey, maybe this is what I needed. And he said, maybe when I served for the match, that's what I needed. And he even made some references to the Wimbledon match. It's still on his mind. There's no way around it. I thought he'd get over it, but this is a little harder to get over than your average loss. It's one thing to lose in the semifinal to Djokovic when you have match points at the U.S. Open years ago. It's another thing to be 1 point, 2 points, 2 chances, 1 point away on your serve at Wimbledon, looking at that trophy. It's a little harder to get over, and I think it's still a factor. Just the fact that Roger even brought it up. But I am optimistic, like Roger said. Maybe it was good for him to have a really challenging serve for the match game and actually do it. You know, come back from love 40. Maybe that was exactly what he needed. That was what Roger Federer said. So let's talk about a little bit about the Federer match, but mainly about, we got to knock this out with every new tournament. How's the courts playing? To me, it's pretty similar to last year. I think it is a little bit faster. Let's take a look at, I got a tweet here from Ajinkaya. And he said, Matt, some fodder for your show. Your favorite topic, court speed. And he is right. It's a retweet from Rod Laver. By the way, sorry we didn't do the show as early as I wanted to today or last night. It was too late. I am getting over a cold. Again, it feels like I just did this. I think when I came back from Cincinnati and did my 4-year-old camp, one of those kids was very sick, but for some reason came to the camp still. Which, hey, I don't blame him. If you love tennis, you show up and you play. But I think I got sick from him. So sorry that I slept in a little this morning and then I got stuck in the Tsitsipas match. I got my eye on it. What a terrible draw playing Rublev, who, of course, took out Dominic Thiem on clay only about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Took out Federer at Cincinnati very recently. And now giving Tsitsipas all he can handle. Anyway, so just wanted to put that out there. I'm getting over this thing. I feel okay. I just I can't really hear. Comment below, because I've never had a cold before where you're so congested. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. I can't freaking hear it. I can barely hear anything. My ears are like muted. Everything's very quiet. It's like I got headphones. It's like I stuffed cotton balls in my ears or something like that. Everything's muffled. Very strange. But I understand this is a thing that happens sometimes. Never happened to me before, so I'm not panicking yet. Rod Laver said, looking forward to the first night at Arthur Ashe to see 3 champions. The courts are playing fast, which gives Roger Federer a big chance to win the title. Well, that got everyone excited, all the Fed fans. While Novak is a deserved favorite. Women's is wide open. I have a hunch Muguruza will go deep. Muguruza just lost. Just lost to Allison Risk. But, yeah. Let's forget that part. We like the part where Rod Laver says Federer has a big chance to win the title. And are the courts playing fast? Well, they're not playing fast. They're playing faster than last year, you could say. But you know what? Forget what I'm saying, because this is so confusing every year. We don't know what to think, who to believe. There's rumors. Everyone's saying the courts are playing faster. Federer said they're not playing very fast. Djokovic said they're playing exactly the same. Let's take a listen to the clip. This is Novak Djokovic on the court surface.
How is the surface substantially similar to last year? Is it faster?
It is. The surface is pretty similar to last year. I mean, I didn't notice any significant difference. It is cooler in terms of weather than it was last year. I remember the first week was really warm, really humid. It was throughout the tournament. It was really humid, which is affecting the play, obviously, and it's affecting your fitness on the court and everything else. Very pleasant conditions. I really like the conditions of the balls, the speed of the court. The weather is fantastic, so it's just very enjoyable.
So Djokovic pretty much saying they're exactly the same, but notice that he said it's cooler weather, which is good for the players, of course, because you don't want to die in there like Federer did against Millman last year. And it was hard on Djokovic, it was hard on everyone, of course. But cooler weather, not only for the easier on the players, but it also slows the ball down a little, and things will heat up. Not a whole lot. I don't think we get as hot as last year, but we have higher temperatures coming for the rest of the tournament. Also, another thing to note is this is early in the tournament. The stuff that grips the ball, the grittiness of the court, the more you run around on it and play on it, the more that wears down. You see someone like Djokovic sliding all over. That's kind of wearing that grit off the court. That's why courts speed up as hard courts do as you go deeper into the tournament. So, right now, probably playing pretty similar to last year. That could actually mean the courts are a touch faster this year. Grit wears away, temperatures go up, courts could be playing faster. Let's take a listen to Roger Federer talking about the court.
It's just a switch again from the clay and grass over to now the hard courts. I think it just requires a bit different tempo in the shots. Also maybe sometimes, going up again, sort of spinning the ball at times. And I don't think it plays particularly fast, especially also it was slower tonight. It was night session again. And I'm playing a clay quarter who's, comfortable to just rally and just keep the ball in play. And he actually does a really good job, especially on the inside out, how he gets around. And that was impressive. So I knew I could struggle, to be quite honest, especially with the rhythm. And, you will be in trouble if you serve as poorly as I did in the first set.
And there you go. Federer not too impressed with the increased court speed. I did hear Patrick McEnroe say the courts are playing a medium. They're very medium hard courts. I guess we should be happy with that. I just don't want the hard courts super slow. Medium's all right. Australian Open can be the place where the hard courts are fast. I'm cool with that. A couple more things, though, before we move on. The ball is always a factor. We always hear that this ball plays livelier than the ATP Pro ball that they play in Canada and Cincinnati. Jumps higher, moves faster. Listen to Federer talk about the ball. He was expecting it to be a very lively ball and not too impressed. Take a listen. There's a long clip, but hear it all. Soak in Roger Federer's wisdom.
Me getting used to the ball. As we played with different balls in Cincinnati, I practiced with different balls in Switzerland as well. So it's only been a week, and I hope that every day that goes by, I start feeling better.
Could you explain a little more in what way the balls here are different and what sort of adjustment that requires from you?
Yeah, I mean, look, you always compare them to the ball that you just played with recently. So I think that I wish the balls were a bit more lively overall on the tour, because Sassenger balls are very heavy at Wimbledon, always have been. At the French, we've seen changes, throughout the last years. Always there's different ball manufacturers. I thought the Cincinnati ball was extremely flat. It wasn't bouncing very much, so it was hard to get anything going on the ball. And then naturally, because that happens, you start playing sort of ping pong. So ping pong, there's a lot of spin involved, but imagine bad ping pong players. They just bunt it back and forth to one another, and it's just hard to get really good sort of banana balls going and all that stuff, So it's just tough. And then here I was expecting more of a lively ball, but I don't think it's crazy. Kicker's not doing that much, to be honest. He was a kicker and he wasn't getting up super high. I was kicking on his second serve towards him on my second, and he was just putting it back, and that shows you that it's pretty easy to return. I think it's going to get faster.
So this is kind of confusing, because if you watched the match on ESPN last night, you heard Patrick McEnroe say, oh, well, Roger's really struggling with the backhand, because Nagal, Sumit Nagal. How funny was that? And how about, there's people out there who are offended. In the on-court post-match interview, BG was saying to Roger, if we take the G down and put a D up there, would you think it's Nadal? And Federer goes, no. It was pretty funny. And then he asked him about the beard. We're going to see the beard for the rest of the tournament? No. Absolutely not. Federer said he's playing just like his beard, rusty, and he's going to shave it off before his next match, which I thought was pretty funny. But some people are offended, saying it was very disrespectful to Nadal to say, I mean, come on. Pretty obvious joke. Pretty much everyone everywhere. I read articles this morning saying, like, last night Federer lost the first set to who you thought would have been Nadal, but it wasn't. It was Nagal. I mean, everyone's going to do some version of that joke, so please don't be too offended out there. I'm sure it's none of the coffee break tennis people who are offended by that. But like Federer said, so Patrick McEnroe last night saying, Federer's missing because of the high bounce, that Nagal is getting the ball up high, much like Nadal would, to the backhand. But then you heard Federer say that this ball's not getting up very much, it's not very lively, and the main thing was he was saying, hey, I'm hitting a kick serve, he's hitting a kick serve, and no one seems to be bothered by the height of the kick serve with this quote-unquote lively ball. So Roger Federer, not impressed with the lively ball, but saying pretty constantly that things will get faster, and I guess he's thinking the ball's going to get more lively. And, well, bouncing high is usually a thing you see with a slower court that grips it and is gritty. So, I don't know. There you go. Did my best to try to make sense of all the conflicting reports we hear at every tournament in the beginning. How are the courts playing? I think the bottom line here is it's pretty similar to last year. A little bit faster, and as we get deep in the tournament, that might be a factor in a matchup like Federer, Djokovic, Federer, Nadal. Not bouncing super low like at Wimbledon, that's for sure, and maybe that's why we didn't see Federer do as much damage with the slice last night, so that would be something to watch out for. How does Federer work his slice here? Another thing I noticed in the Djokovic match, everyone was saying he was a little rusty, and then you see Federer's match. That's much more rusty, obviously. But Djokovic was shaking the left arm a lot and mistiming some balls. Everyone's getting used to the timing of the court. Normal, typical stuff. Really looking forward to tonight to see how does Nadal time this thing. Speaking of Nadal, and I'll go through my match notes on Federer in a little bit. I'm not going to go too long today because I want to get right back to watching Tsitsipas and Mr. Rupels. Tsitsipas has advantage on his serve to force a tiebreak right now as we speak. We will be doing a show tonight where we'll talk more about Tsitsipas. We'll talk about Nadal's first match. Of course, we will talk about Kyrgios. But here's Greg Ruzetsky thinking Nadal needs to blitz through the first week of the U.S. Open to have a successful campaign. Let's see. What did Ruzetsky said? Scrolling down. He can't afford to go as long as he did with those matches. Of course, talking about what I always talk about the last couple of years with Nadal. On hard courts, we see Nadal have to quit towards the end of the tournament. Knees can't make it all the way through. And it's just a fact. When you're on the hard courts, they're rougher on the body. And Nadal's at a point in his career where, like Ruzetsky says, can't afford to go as long as he did with those matches. You can lose a major in the first week if you even go through it by having too many brutal matches back-to-back. He just had too many brutal matches back-to-back. The conditions were too slow last year. So it almost sounds like Ruzetsky's hinting that they're a little faster this year. And the guys he played, you have to give credit to. Khachanov, team, what he is doing is absolutely phenomenal. If he can have an easier run in the first week, there's no reason why he can't go all the way because he has won the U.S. Open on a few occasions. Meanwhile, Nadal claimed he's feeling 100% fit heading into the U.S. Open clash with Millman tonight, who will give him a tough match if Nadal doesn't spank him early, like Ruzetsky's hoping for here. Last year, honestly, I was not that bad. Of course, my feeling on the knees are better this year than last year, says Nadal. So we're on knee alert tonight. We're on knee watch. And, of course, we'll do a show tonight with a video. I'll be on camera. You can judge how sickly I look and have fun commenting below. Last year, the problem was I played 3 or 4 very long matches, says Rafa. That's tough. That happened in the semifinals with the thing with the knee. Okay, so also, don't forget, at the Australian Open, Nadal did blaze through people this year and still get blazed by Novak Djokovic in the end. All right, let's go through the match notes, talk a little bit about Federer and some of my thoughts on the match. One more thing I wanted to point out. Really sad stuff coming out of the Berdych. By the way, Janko Tipsarevic had his last match Won the first set, ends up going down. Probably would have enjoyed losing to a fellow Serbian for his last match here. But he's out, and Tomas Berdych loses to this Jensen Brooksby kid. Look at his picture. Maybe I'll find it when I edit this. It's total baby. That baby face beat Tomas Birdman Berdych. And let me just read some of the stuff that the Birdman said in his press conference before we move on. I can't serve. Well, first he says, my hips hurt. It restricts me to move. I can't serve. I can't bend. Pretty big problem in tennis. It makes no sense to discuss this match at all. I sacrificed a lot during the summer, and I believe that I would show something here at the U.S. Open. That does not sound good. If I came here just to attend, I probably would talk more calmly. My idea has more or less disappeared today. I need to be in my 50s by the end of the season to get to the big tournaments. Is that a weird translation thing here? This is from Luigi Gatto, tennisworldusa.org. I think what he means is I need to be in the 50s ranking-wise, but with 0 points, says Birdman from the U.S. Open, it probably won't work. Also, some more injury stuff here. There go to Grigor Dimitrov, who says that he got a win, so good there, beating Andreas Seppi, another one of our older players on tour, one of the veterans of the tour now. Dimitrov said, my shoulder more or less is healthy now, but it had bothered me since the offseason, required racket adjustments. First big injury of my career, driving me crazy. Still a little pain here and there, but I feel a lot of upside now. So, sounds like, I think Darren Cahill said in the broadcast yesterday that he's expecting Birdman to possibly retire pretty soon. These quotes sound like it. I had heard that shoulder problems before with Dimitrov. I had not heard that he was tinkering with the racket to make it easier on the shoulder. When you have to do stuff like, that was really what killed Sharapova's career, if you think about it. She had to tinker with the motion. Dimitrov, you hear that. That's a bad sign. That makes a lot of sense because the biggest problem for Dimitrov lately has, other than confidence, has been the serve. The serve has been completely unreliable, just like what we see with Sasha Zverev. Oops, Tsitsipas up 4-2 in the tiebreak. Backhand in the net. There goes the advantage. Excuse me. Pardon me. All right, that's enough of that. Do I have any more interesting news here? The Swiss's great timing seemed to have deserted him as straightforward forehands floated wide and backhands looped high and long. From thescotsman.com from Evie Fodens. Yeah, that's enough of that. We will not be reading any more of that garbage. Let's go to my match notes. We'll talk about what really happened with Roger Federer, because last night was not a problem at all for the Fed fans. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. All right, here's what I wrote. Oh, no. It does look bad, actually. Federer, one of the ugliest sets of the year. Some really bad misses. Way off. Then I wrote, this is before I heard Federer say the lively ball isn't so lively. The lively ball is flying through the court and bouncing quite high. It kind of looked like that on TV, but I think mostly that was me hearing Patrick McEnroe say, oh, this high ball is giving Federer treble on the backhand side. But you know what? We saw the trouble with the backhand, then we started seeing trouble with the forehand. But there were lots of things to enjoy last night. Now, the serve numbers got better, and the error count. That was, Federer, I think in that first set, Nadal only had 3 winners. And take a look at this. By the way, here's a fun comment from Susre Srivastava. Sumit Nagal took a set off him, so I'm very grateful for his sloppy play as an Indian. And here's from Manohar, who's a fan of the show for a long time now. We love seeing stuff like this from our fans who help make the show. You give us all the stats and info like this, makes it easier on me. So here's the unforced error counts from Manohar for Roger Federer. Set 1, 19. Good luck winning a set when you hit 19 unforced errors. Remember, Federer broke. Federer was leading in that first set. 19 unforced errors. I believe 3 winners for Nadal there. So this is all on Federer, this match. Everything. He gave Nadal the set. He took the match away from Nadal as well. 14 unforced errors. That's why set 2 was a breadstick for Roger. But if you watch it, it was not your typical breadstick. 14 unforced errors. That's quite a bit. Set 4, he wins 6-4 there. And that's 17 unforced errors with quite a struggle to hold serve at the end, as we noted in the beginning of the show. But 14 unforced errors, that's not easy to win a set with either. And if you watch it, it's kind of I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe when Federer serves at 5-1 to finish the set, there are 7 set points. Lucky number 7, Federer converts to win that set and 7 deuces, and all kinds of crazy stuff happening in those points. Even though he only hit 3 winners in the first set, Nadal was really going for it. Maybe that's another reason why you could watch last night and think, oh, the courts are playing faster, because Federer is just kind of gripping and ripping at times and flying into the net. Also, Nadal is such a fast mover that it kind of makes play look faster, the way the points were developing, the way he would get around his backhand and just bust forehands. I mean, he was really playing aggressively last night. He was going for it like, this is my chance to have the biggest win of my career. I'm going to give it all I have. It was kind of a fun match, other than the panicking, if you're a Fed fan, for worrying what the heck is going on here. Set 3 was definitely the easiest set of the match, and 7 unforced errors. Makes a big difference. Federer was still doing his typical beautiful tennis, lots of it, just you threw in a bunch of wild errors. And the first serve in percentage, it goes to that magic Craig O'Shaughnessy number by the second set, 61%, which, if you don't know, that's the stats guru who works for Djokovic and kind of helps game plan by going through data and numbers. Sometime this year, he had a piece where he said Federer has to serve around 61%. That's the magic number for Federer, because if he gets more first serves in, he's not playing risky enough. He's not going for the spots enough. He's not, trying to win with his serve enough. He's being too careful. Then he's going to lose more. It'll drive his first serve win percentage down. And if he makes less than that, well, he's just not making enough in. So you saw that happen, and that, things started getting better from there. By the way, take a listen to Federer himself talking about what was going on with the first serve. And I believe he was at like 40-something% first serves in. It was a very bad number in that first set. So you couple that bad serving, as Federer said in the press conference, couple that with the unforced errors, it's very difficult to win, even against a guy who really doesn't have the firepower to threaten you at any point.
You will be in trouble if you serve as poorly as I did in the first set. So that puts the pressure on, because he had the upper hand from the baseline, and it's up to me to be able to change that. I was hitting a lot of serves long, so you kind of try to clock them down. I don't want to say you aim for the net, but you aim, more of a trajectory downwards. Never a good thing, when you're having to aim in the wrong place for hoping it to go in the right place. But that's what you do. You do anything to get it right eventually. And throughout the match, I wonder how many times I served in the net. Hardly ever. I don't know if it was still getting used to the balls or the conditions tonight.
So, yeah, there you go. If Federer is aiming for the net on purpose because he keeps hitting serves long, that's a problem. And we saw that in Cincinnati, against Rublev. Federer was able to break back in that first set, but he gets broken twice. And, that's not good. And, Federer's big strength is he's unbreakable. In big matches, he can be unbreakable. Against someone like Djokovic, he'll get broken, but not as often as Djokovic is accustomed to breaking. And Federer able to break Djokovic's serve, as we saw at Wimbledon. He did it plenty of times. So, a little alarming there on the serve, but other than that, I'm with Federer on, hey, he's just getting used to the ball, getting used to the court, to the conditions. Things are going to get better and better, and the good news is Zoomer is next up. Damir Zoomer is a guy who's super fast, not a lot of firepower, not going to be able to really threaten Roger Federer. It's perfect for Roger to work on things and find the rhythm. We'll get to hit tons of balls, so I'm very happy with how things are. And then I believe, Luca Pui potentially in the third round, but let's just focus on the next round. We will watch the Zoomer. We will watch whoever the third round match is, and for the patron saints of Coffee Break Tennis, we will do a preview for the next round of Federer. Unless he loses the Zoomer, something like that happens, then we'll start game planning and doing scouting reports on maybe Nadal's opponents, Djokovic's opponents, whatever I think looks more interesting to me at the time. All right, let me run through here really quick. Did I see anything else super interesting? I did want to say this. 7 double faults with 5 in the opening set. Yeah, that's just more evidence that Federer is not where he needs to be on the serve. Is that some kind of lagging effect from the disappointment of losing at Wimbledon? Maybe. Rublev, 8-7, set point, serving. First serve up the tee. It's out. Floats long. Rublev is thrilled. He might cry again. He looks just as happy as he was when he beat Federer. Tsitsipas looks the opposite. All right, another thing I noticed was 62 winners and 12 aces. Federer, like I said, did a lot of good stuff. He was very good at the net. I mean, Federer looked awesome at the net. The movement looked great. So no reason. I saw some people say like, oh, the back, I can tell. The back is out. Federer's moving way too well to say that he threw his back out. The back is fine. The serving is more just, I don't know, he doesn't have the confidence in it right now after the depression of Wimbledon. I think it's, you know what it probably is Federer just trying to forget that Wimbledon loss. It's probably very difficult, and he just hasn't been playing tennis or thinking about tennis. He just walked away from it. So I think that's what we saw, and Federer's just got to find the rhythm. All right, hit the music. Like I said, 62 winners, 12 aces. It's not all bad for Roger Federer. We will be back tonight with a full show with me on the screen. Please comment below how sickly I look or how good I look. Maybe you'll be surprised to see how good I look. Maybe I'll have a glow. Thanks for listening to Coffee Break Tennis Podcast. See you tonight.